We are here with Mr. Saravanan of SAP Legal, and he's our first participant in the Know Your Lawyer series. And we have a list of questions for him. Before we start, greetings, Mr. Saravanan, and thank you very much for agreeing to be our first participant.
Thank you.
And if I can start the questions, why did you want to be a lawyer in the first place?
I think this notion started from my school days. Even during my school days, I used to participate in all the debates and in the oratorical competitions. So my friends, at that time itself used to tell me probably, you'll make a good lawyer or something like that. So that made me piqued my interest in the career as a legal career. Apart from that, I always had this notion for justice. Wherever injustice which happened around me, I used to get slighted, and I always raised my voice against those injustices. So probably I thought, my inner voice told me that probably, a career in law would be good with a combination of these both attributes. So I was set even during my school days.
Oh, that's very interesting, and I think you've made the right choice of profession. Now, coming to a second question, how big is your team at SAP Legal, and what are the areas and courts that you practice in?
See, we here at SAP Legal have 5 lawyers. We are a team of 5. We practice, the principal area of practice is at the High Court of Judicature at Madras here. The areas we practice are constitutional law, criminal defense work, and matrimonial issues. We also take up a lot of real estate issues and civil litigations, property disputes, all that. Wherever there is litigation, we ensure that we are there.
Okay, that's interesting. And till date, have you handled any international litigation, or are you looking at going global at some point in time?
Certainly, we have handled a lot of cases which has international ramifications, like a lot of matrimonial dispute, abduction issues, familial abduction issues, and the courts in the US, they wanted our expertise in properties which are situated in India where the properties were concealed. We handled a lot of cases like that. I think any lawyer worth his salt. I think in the future they have to go global, because we know it's the way the globalized system is working. I think every lawyer has to go global.
And I think the internet has made the world a very small and flat place. So I think that would definitely kind of be fodder to your aspirations of going global. Best of luck with
certainly. See, I would like to narrate an experience here. See, for a client, we did due diligence here, and we wanted to find out the properties concealed by our husband. So in the original times, in the times of no internet, probably they should have got us there, or they should have had some video testimony, bringing it physically, taking it there. All that would have happened. But now we have this video conferencing, and we were deposing from the confines of our office room there in an US federal court. So in those things, I think it's a boon for a lawyer. This internet and the way things are moving forward, it's a boon, big boon.
Thank you very much for that. And today, if you look at it, there are a lot of people who don't know where to go, or don't have the resources or access to legal help. It's an important question that we plan to ask all lawyers and law firms that we interview on the Know Your Lawyer series. Do you do any kind of pro bono work at all, or are you planning to do some kind of pro bono work in the future? In what areas are you looking at doing work of that sort?
See, pro bono work, it is inbuilt into the system, like it is inbuilt into our firm and our consciences. We don't see. It's like it goes like this. Whoever approaches us, if they are not able to pay the fees, they're not able to afford the fees, we take their cases and do them. We don't say that we go pro bono only in this field or that field. It depends upon the client and his problem. If he has a genuine solution and he has a genuine reason that he was not able to pay, we will take up his case pro bono and do it for him. That gives us the immense satisfaction. That drives us forward. That sense of justice drives us forward.
Oh, that's very nice to know. And coming to our next session, it's a couple of questions on current affairs. And what do you think of demonetization per se? I mean, what are your views on demonetization?
See, on November 8th, when the Prime Minister announced this demonetization scheme, on the above the principle of abolishing black money, we were all very happy because we all know that black money is the the most devastating thing, which is siphoning or which is stalling our economy. So in that way, we all welcomed it. We thought this will be a great step forward to ensure that so this black money is wiped out of the system. See, that is one aspect. But when we look at this implementation, how it is being done, I think that leaves a little heartburn. And the way the people are crowded, and the way people come and tell us how bad they are and how affected they are, and economically how this small and medium industries are affected, that makes us wonder, is the effort worth it all? But we'll have to wait and see. Our Prime Minister has great visions. We'll have to wait and see what he's up to and how the system is going to improve in the coming few months.
Right. Thanks for that. And while we were looking at your profile, an interesting fact we noticed was that you were part of a team that has been to the US for the last two elections. I mean, once when President Obama won, and this time when Mr. Donald Trump won the elections. I mean, what do you see as basic differences in the electoral system here in India and there in the US, and what is your experience? Could you tell us something about that?
See, in 2012, we were part of the US government's fellowship program, a legislative fellows program. We were part of that, and we were stationed in the US for a month, observing the elections. And we got closely associated with an organization there, where we were stationed in Columbus, Ohio, and in the International Visitors Council at Columbus, Ohio, which hosts international dignitaries who visit the US. So this time, in 2016, we were invited by this International Visitors Councils at Columbus, Ohio, to witness the election. So we were there, witnessing and observing the election process in the US. See, what struck me, what was starkly contrasting between both the Indian and the US election system or the electoral process is the level of negativity that is into the system in the US, and there is no holds barred allegations, muck throwing around. I think in that sense, India is far ahead. We have a strong election commission which ensures that nobody makes personal allegations. And we have this model code of conduct which is very strictly followed, scrupulously followed. Any violation of that is going to be penalized, and the political parties are afraid of that, because they may lose their recognition, or the candidate may be stopped from contesting in the elections. As we saw in Tamil Nadu, 2 elections in 2 constituencies, the elections were postponed. So that kind of a regulatory mechanism is absent in the US elections, and it was personal allegations galore. Instead of talking about the issues, the candidates were only making allegations against each other, and everywhere the people there quipped. They openly said that they don't know whom to choose, because both of them, there are only bad things to speak about them, there are no good things to speak about them. So I think that is one stark contrast between these two, India and the US electoral process. The other aspect is that electoral funding and the amount people spend for their elections. See, even though in India the election commission has Indian election commission has fixed amount, that only that amount can be spent, but in the US there are no limits absolutely for any candidate to spend on those elections. So it indirectly becomes whichever candidate who can generate more money, he may win the election. That is the situation it has come to. In India it is, I think, slightly different. As I said earlier, like, the election commission is closely monitoring the election expenses and ensuring that this going out of bounds expenses are not there. So I think these are the 2 important aspects which are found vastly different from India and the US. And if you look at the positives, what I would say is they have this early voting system. so that some states allow elections to be, people to vote even 1 month prior to the elections, but we have one particular day. They have 1 month. They have online polls also, and the registering for the elections are all very simplified, very easy, so that people don't have to clamor in at the last moment to poll their votes. They can casually, whenever they are free, they can go and poll their votes. I think that is one positive there in those elections. Probably we should also slowly adopt to that kind of a system where you go and vote relaxedly rather than wait for that day and scamper and wait in those long serpentine queues.
Thank you for that. And coming to the last section of our small session, I mean, this is more personal. So, what are your favorite pastimes and hobbies?
Favorite pastimes and hobbies? Probably I read a lot. I read a lot, and sometimes I watch this odd movies, and of course every day I play a game or the other, badminton or squash. So these are my pastimes.
And the last question for the session, I mean, is a question we ask everybody we meet. If not a lawyer, what?
If not a lawyer, what would I have become? Probably in my school days, I wanted to become a pilot. That was my dream. That's what every school child's dream used to be, become a pilot. Probably when I was in, say, second standard, third standard, or fourth standard. That's what I wanted to become. But later on, probably if I look in hindsight, probably I should have become. I would have been happy if I had been an innovator, an engineer who had invented things, or a scientist. This combination probably if I had become one of that, I would have been it would have been great.
Right, that's nice. So thanks, Mr. Saravanan. Thank you for the time, and wish you and your family a very happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and a happy New Year to everybody.